Hello, I'm Zach, and I am an alcoholic, is what I used to say when I was attending the meetings of Alcoholics Anonymous. I was a horrible alcoholic back then. I remember shoplifting mouthwash from grocery stores. I drank rubbing alcohol. Not long enough to figure out what it pairs with, but I can tell you that it does not taste good with root beer. I would drink first thing in the morning till I passed out in the evening. I wouldn't eat because I was never hungry. Alcohol is full of empty calories. That type of behavior, though, meant that I got sick a lot. After a few days of nothing but booze and juice, I would get sick. So sick that I couldn't hold down anything. No food, no water, and no alcohol. I would reach this spot where I was too sick to hold down liquor, and then a lack of alcohol in my system caused me to become even more sick. I would be sick anywhere from 3 to 5 days to a week, and then be okay for a couple of days, and then get right back to it as the thirst would set in. It would start small and then just grow and grow until I couldn't ignore it anymore. I used to refer to my urge to drink as a thirst because A, it was a vampire reference, and B, it felt like an actual physical thirst. So when I tell people that I used to be an alcoholic, the question that I always get is, oh, so when did you quit? See, that's the thing. I never could quit drinking. As badly as I wanted to quit, I also wanted to drink. So I did. I would always wind up drinking. I never did manage to quit drinking. I quit being an alcoholic. In AA, they told me that I had a disease, that I would always be an alcoholic. That what I had to do was to quit drinking through strength of will, as well as fellowship with other alcoholics. Well, that wasn't going to work for me. You see, part of their strategy was attending meetings day after day, and that wasn't going to happen. Nothing made me thirstier than a good AA meeting. I'm sorry, but the whole AA model just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. A bunch of people with the exact same problem, sitting around with each other, dwelling on the problem and how much that it sucks for them, seems like a good way to keep that problem front and center for them and everyone else. I tried doing it their way, and time after time, it didn't work. I have social anxiety and virtually zero willpower. It was the only way, they said. After all, you can't unpickle a pickle. Well, I'm not garden produce. There had to be another way, and there was. There were hallucinogenic treatments and resort getaways with drug and alcohol therapies, none of which I could afford. There had to be another way. Well, it took me a long time to get where I am today, and I feel like it would have been a lot easier with this. Somebody going, oh, chill out. There is another way. Because in AA, they told me that alcoholism is a disease and that the only cure for that disease was to quit drinking. Well, for me, that wasn't the case at all. For me, drinking was a symptom, an indicator that something else was going on. The thing about a symptom is that you can never cure it. But once you fix the actual problem, the symptom goes away. Just like my drinking problem did, because it was never really the problem. It was just a symptom. I realize that people come in all shapes and sizes. Everyone is different, and everyone has a different experience. What worked for me won't necessarily work for everybody, just like AA never worked for me. What I want to do here is to show people that there is another way, an alternative, to be the voice that I so desperately needed to hear all those years ago. I'm not exactly sure what to advise people to do in order to quit drinking. I'm not exactly sure how I was even able to quit. I just made a number of significant changes that resulted in me not having the urge to drink anymore. I can't pinpoint exactly which change it was that had the desired result. I just know that it was something that I did. I started out by focusing on drinking less. That was achievable. I couldn't quit drinking, but I could decrease my intake. I drank less and less until I reached sort of a plateau. And then I made a bunch of really big changes. Not big as in move to Tallahassee or something, just big changes in the way that I thought about things. I changed a lot of my habits. My goal is to examine those changes to see if there is anything there that can benefit someone else. I also have a few thoughts about addiction that might be helpful. I think that the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous are garbage. Well, the first few, anyways. I'm glad that the 12 steps have helped so many people to stop drinking, but the truth is, the program's success rate is not that high. The failure rate is extraordinary. I myself never could quit drinking. I think the focus on quitting might have made it even more difficult. You know, when somebody tells you not to think about elephants and suddenly all you can think about is elephants? When I quit drinking, I wasn't thinking about quitting drinking at all. I was totally focused on getting healthier, exercising, eating, and sleeping right. I just noticed one day that I hadn't had anything to drink in about a week or so, and that I wasn't even thirsty. Without the urge to drink, I had no reason to go back to it. I never enjoyed the flavor of alcohol, so it was no big deal for me to go without that. I didn't have any problematic friendships, no peer pressure. Now it is no problem for me not to drink. I can see it or be around people who are drinking without wanting to join in. That unnatural power that it had over me is done. And it just seems to me like this should be achievable for other people as well. That's the goal, anyways, to be a voice of encouragement. To tell people that no matter what your struggles, you've got this.